Good evening. So tonight's topic, of course, is going to be the election in Germany. And I thought I'm going to tune in here for a few minutes, give you a short rundown of what my thoughts are. But before I get into this, there's just one thing I wanted to mention about my cooking video I made, which people have watched, but I have not received many likes for it. I'm not quite sure, but it was probably the fact that I said that it's on a shoestring budget and it's affordable. The reason why is, if you have looked at my channel, then you know that I presented you a cookbook written by our former kitchen master, the chief, the Grand Maître Hauptner. And he wrote that book, and that was titled Cooking Classes or Cooking for All People. Basically, that's what he said. So he presented in his cookbook very elaborate dishes, expensive dishes, and then affordable dishes. I would say it depends on your budget and that sort of stuff. So you can expect this as I do some more of these cooking videos, my kitchen permitting only certain sizes at the moment until I buy a house, a big house, and, get a larger kitchen where I can do more. They're going to be elaborate, expensive meals prepared and shown how to prepare them, and then affordable stuff or for people who are on a budget, retired people, Social Security recipients. That's what we call them here. When you're in Social Security in America, means you are in retirement and you're on a fixed income. And you have to basically watch your money when you go to the grocery store. So we're trying to cover the whole range here. I just wanted to mention that real quick. Now, it is now 8:15 p.m. here in Central Standard Time on Sunday, what is today? The 23rd of February, 2025, and the election happened. The official results, or the preliminary end results, came in about an hour ago. And the big question was if the Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, BSW, was going to be over 5% or not. And it looks, at the moment, at least what they're saying, they got 4.972%. So they're below the 5% clause, and they will not be in the parliament. And that means that Merz, Freddie, can do or engage in a conversation with the Social Democrats about a great or big coalition, which it really isn't, because the SPD got, a meager 12 or 14%, and the CDU winded up around 28%, with the AfD at 21%, somewhere around there. And technically, so they're going to engage now in a coalition talks, which would be considered center-left with the Social Democrats. And because he had ruled out, and so did the Christian Socialists, the CSU, the Bavarian counterpart to the CDU, that they would engage into talks to form a coalition with the AfD. They had basically said that would not happen, even though the AfD is the second largest or strongest party in the parliament after the CDU. And normally in our history, what would have happened was that you would have had a coalition out of the two biggest parties representing the majority of the voters in this case, and that is not going to happen. The SPD came in, the Social Democrats came in third, I think, third or fourth. Yeah, third, before the Green Party. Third, so you have the strongest, the highest party, and the third party, 1 and 3, which are going to try to form a coalition. Now, what you have to know now about this is that basically anything Merz had said in the election campaigning there with his immigration stuff and all of this, it's not going to be nearly as far to the right as what he has said. What you're going to wind up with if these people really come together in a coalition, which they probably will because they have no other choice, since they limited themselves from a coalition with the AFD, and that kind of will give you a watered-down version of everything, because the SPD is really what you would have had more or less with the Democrats here under Biden, and to a certain extent Obama, but more so Biden. And this is going to be a washed-down version of this whole thing, what you're going to get here. In essence, you can actually call this coalition, which is going to develop, a anti-Trump coalition, because neither Merz nor the Social Democrats, who don't have a leaders, and Scholz is basically stepping down out of everything now, is going to be focused on the course they had started out under Biden, for instance, with the Ukraine war and immigration issues, and a lot of the stuff what Biden had implemented, they're going to go into that direction. It will not be a Trump kind of government, what you're seeing now here in the United States. That would have gotten a little bit closer to it if the Christian Democrats would have done, or would have said, we are going to talk to the AFD and possibly form a coalition with the AFD. What that will do is most likely, and Vital, she said it today in the on television, is that the AFD is going to be the winner out of this in the end in the next election, probably in 4 years or less. If the coalition is not going to last that long, then they're going to have elections before that, because a lot of the CDU voters who went now with a CDU is going to be disappointed again, because you have the Social Democrats in there, and everything they're going to do is going to be watered down with the asylum stuff, with the work requirements for people who are getting welfare, and all of the stuff combined, basically. And the pro-Russian people, who are more pro-Russian, the more pro-Trump people, they will probably going to leave the Christian Democrats in the next election and shift over to the AFD. So in the next federal election, we might have a good chance to see that the AFD is actually going to be the strongest party coming out of the stuff when it is all said and done. Now, we can't predict the future, of course, but at the moment, as Macron is on the way, the French president is on the way to Washington, D.C., to meet with Trump in the morning, Monday morning, to have talks about this whole Ukraine deal and the Russian talks, because the Europeans are we feel like they're left out, the Ukrainians are left out, and all of that stuff. But I believe that Trump has a agenda here, and he knows what he's doing. They need to appease Trump, not Trump, but Putin. Just for the mere fact, this is more as you kind of blow sugar up his behind, is more likely you're going to be able to reach a compromise in this war to get a ceasefire, and then a peace, some form of a peace at least. And, the discussion is going to be whether they're going to station soldiers there, a peacekeeping mission troop in the Ukraine, just with European soldiers, but no American soldiers. They think that this is going to be the end then of NATO, basically, if that should occur, and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of where they are. And the Christian Democrats and the Socialists are more aligned in this between their two party programs. So they will come together there fairly quickly to be able to basically counter Trump. That's going to be their main objective, what they're going to try to do, and to preserve European and German interests, primarily the European, since it is the European Union. And of course, Merz is closer aligned with Ursula von der Leyen, in that whole political spectrum there in Brussels, than he is with other groups outside of Europe. So this will give you roughly an idea which way this is going to go. Now, how successful Merz is going to be in negotiating with Trump, that needs to be seen. I think Trump posted earlier some tweets or some posts on that social media page he got where he congratulated them, and I think he was under the impression that because of the strong showing of the AFD, of the strong results of the AFD, that Merz would seek a coalition with the AFD. But this is since this evening, since they went on television in a talk round between the top people of these parties, that is basically out the window, and it probably will not materialize whatsoever. And that will steer everything pretty much in the same direction where it was before the red-green yellow coalition basically collapsed last year in November. And but it won't be a big difference. Like I said, he is more aligned, Merz and the SPD in general is more aligned with the Democrats and a few Republicans here in the Senate and in the House, which are more in the center and not as Trumpist as the rest of them. But who knows how long these people will be here, because Elon Musk already announced that they will be, he will be funding more MAGA-type people here to run against the rhinos, what we're calling them. Here, interesting, unrelated to the Prince Albrecht Plantagen video. And that was just my thoughts. We will see what the next days are going to bring. So I will check in later this week. The other two videos for the Prince Albrecht Palais in Berlin are still in the works. I'm still looking through material and see what is the best way on how to put this all together. And with that, you have a great evening.